Good afternoon. Welcome to my Facebook Live today. 2 days ago on my blog at kimfredrickson.com, I talked about how we can have healthy holiday expectations. And I thought it would be fun and helpful to share with you guys about that today, but to actually expand from what I shared in the blog, as well as a couple personal stories or two. So please say hello as you join me today. And if you'd like, I'd just love to hear who's here and to say hi. And whether or not you're watching live with me right in the moment, or whether you're going to watch later, I'd love to know that you're here. So I'm so glad that you were able to join me today. In the United States, because I actually have a lot of people that watch from different places in the United States, Thanksgiving is only 6 days away. Oh my gosh, I haven't even planned anything. So I have a little bit of work to do. So with it being so close, I wanted to share some helpful tips and ideas so that you can have appropriate and healthy expectations about your holiday celebrations. So just so you know, it is normal to have a mixture of feelings as the holidays approach. We all know the positives, right? Yummy food, good times of gratitude to God and others in your life, decorations, beautiful lights, time with family and friends, and also, did I happen to mention good food? Well, sometimes we also don't realize or get surprised by how normal it is to have painful feelings amidst the joy as well. With all of that, there can be stress from all the preparations that go into the holidays, extra financial pressure, negotiating visits with family or relatives, and even times of grief can happen during the holidays. And sometimes people are surprised about that, but it's actually pretty normal because the holidays remind us of family and friends that are dear to us. And sometimes we feel sadness that occurs when we're either reminded of a loss in our lives. It could be loss of a loved one through death or separation, or divorce, or estrangement. We may feel a lot of loneliness, or just realizing your life is different than you thought it would be. So those kinds of feelings also come up with the holidays, and it's important to just notice them as normal and to allow them to be there. So I would say just let yourself have the feelings or the emotions that you're having. And you might say to yourself something like this, just to acknowledge them. You know, I love the holidays. I get excited for the holidays, but they also can be stressful and sad. And that's normal. It just means I'm a human being. Nothing is all positive or all negative. And I'm just noticing that there's a little part of the holidays that can be sad for me. So just connect with yourself over any kind of mixed feelings that you're having. So I want to share with you some do's and don'ts in order for you to have healthy expectation for your holidays. Because I think for a lot of us, we get very disappointed when things don't turn out the way we thought. So I'm going to start with the main don't right now, okay? Don't attach your hopes and dreams to somebody else's plans. In a recent blog post I did, as well as my last Facebook Live, it was called Sustaining Hope When It's Hard to Hope. And I actually shared that I'm not big on attaching hope to a couple of things. I'm not big on attaching hope to outcomes that I can't control, or people that I can't influence or change, or situations in the world that are way bigger than me that I can't control. And I'm also not attaching hope to planning on things to change or be different or get better, or not be the way that they actually are. So those thoughts actually apply to the season of celebration as well. And it's so normal, it's just completely normal to wish that a holiday, let's say Thanksgiving coming up or some other holiday, goes a certain way. You have the whole thing in your mind and how it's going to go, and you hope that people would remember you in meaningful ways and include you, and that everything that you planned, everything that you'd hoped for would happen. Okay, pause yourself, take a deep breath, reality check. All that you're hoping for probably won't happen. Some of it will. And so you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, why did I tune in? How is that encouraging to me? Okay, so I'm not being a downer, but I am being realistic. And the reason is that most likely other people in your life have their own hopes and wishes and needs. They have a lot of responsibilities and things that they're dealing with that you actually have no idea about, just like they probably don't know everything you're dealing with. So the reason it's helpful to kind of be realistic is that dealing with reality and then planning for it leads to positive holidays and celebrations, while being idealistic or unrealistic leads to absolute disappointment around the holidays. So it's just important to take a look, which is what we're doing today, at what are some realistic and healthy holiday expectations. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't wish for things. Of course you should. But it does mean to figure out for yourself what is important to you, and then try to share that with others about what you're hoping for or what you would like to have happen. And please, I'm begging you, don't do the mind reading thing, hoping that the other people in your life will somehow just know, okay? This is an absolute recipe for disaster. Oh, hi, Linda. Oh, how fun. She said she's starting her supervision time of her counselors with this broadcast. So hello, everybody. I might even know some of you that I've had in class before. So it's fun to see so many of you join me today. So I'm going to tell you a story about what we used to do, and we still do it some, but our children are adults now, but especially when they were smaller, when there was a lot of people involved. We would ask ourselves, as well as others, 2 important questions. Hi, Donna. And the purpose of the questions is actually to help you figure out what's important to you, as well as find out what's important to other people. So the first question is, you ask yourself this, but then you ask, let's say you're with someone in your family or friends, something you're going to get together and do, you ask them the same question. You said, this is what you say. You say, what do you not want to have happen when we celebrate Thanksgiving? Now that might sound negative, but the reason it's a powerful question, because all people are it's much easier for them to access what they don't want to have happen. And that leads the way to what they do want to have happen. So people will be able to say, oh, well, I don't want to be busy all the time. I don't want to be stuck in the kitchen all the time. Or I don't want everybody just be watching football and nobody talks to each other. Or I don't want to do nothing. Whatever it is, people can access much easier what they don't want to have happen. So I want you to be thinking about that, okay? The second question, and I used to ask this especially with the kids, because it was hard for them to say they want lots of presents and candy. It was hard for them to say what they wanted. So I would ask this question, but then I found it was good for everybody, not just children, is I would say to them, okay, I want you to imagine it's the day after Thanksgiving, and we had a great time. Just kind of notice that, yeah. Okay, well, I want you to tell me, what was it that made it a great time, or a great trip to see family, or a great day, or whatever it is. So you have people look forward to, oh, that was really what I was hoping for. And then that will tell you, and tell yourself as well as them, the things that are really important to have happen. Because sometimes if you ask people, well, what do you want to have happen? Sometimes people don't know, and so they don't say. Sometimes people do know, but they're afraid to say. And so that question that I just said, imagine it's the day after Thanksgiving or vacation or a trip to see relatives or a time out with friends. What happened that made it was such a great day? So those are 2 questions that are really helpful. And it's amazing how these questions can help both yourself as well as other people figure out what's truly important around the holidays. Because, you don't want to spend time and energy and effort on things that don't really matter, right? I mean, you want to only put all that effort into something that really makes a difference, okay? You can also ask yourself and others, what are there special traditions you do, or food, or activities that are important. You can say, is there something new we should do that we've never done before? Is there something we should stop doing? Those kinds of questions, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that your answers and everybody else's answers are going to fit together perfectly, right? It doesn't mean that at all. It means there'll be give and take, and hopefully you'll come up with solutions that will consider everyone. And don't forget to include yourself in that equation. Sometimes we work so hard to make everybody else happy that we end up feeling, put upon, or nobody's thinking of us, but, maybe we didn't say anything. So it's important to, come up with a solution, hopefully, that considers other people as well as ourselves. And the huge benefit is that you will start by asking those questions. You'll actually start with real answers to consider rather than assumptions, because sometimes we don't mean to do it, but we think, oh, well, for sure we should do this and this and this, but we never asked anybody, and then we're shocked why no one appreciated it, or they didn't want to do it, or whatever. So it's better to ask and work from there. Even if people's answers are different, I think there's ways to come up with solutions that actually take into consideration everybody. So when you're planning for the holidays, though, make sure you also include some things in your own list that matter to you that don't depend on whether someone else wants to do it. So for me, I'll just tell you, traditionally, it always happens, is I love to watch certain movies at the holidays. And so I love to watch Hallmark movies. I love to watch Elf. I love to watch White Christmas. I mean, I just have certain holiday movies that I really like to do that not necessarily other people like to do. So I just make sure that those happen for me, just maybe other times. And it's honoring to me to pay attention to what I really like too. So just, get those answers out there for yourself as well as for others, okay? Next one is practice healthy self-care. Take an active position in making sure that the holidays include time with people or activities that are meaningful to you. So we talked a little bit about things that maybe you'd like to do, but make sure and check in about what are there meaningful things that you want to do. It could be things related to church services or traditional things that are meaningful to family and friends. There might be meaningful things for you, like, certain kinds of foods or looking at lights and certain kind of music. Just notice that kind of thing. And take care of yourself. Make sure to get enough sleep and exercise, time to relax and have fun. Just even a little bit in there, okay? And be kind to yourself and compassionate with yourself during the holidays. Sometimes we feel like we don't do enough, we don't get anything done, we're always behind. Be kind to yourself. There's like literally no way to get all that done. It's not possible, okay? So be kind to yourself. Do what you can do. And it's better to do less and not run yourself ragged than it is to try to cover everything and then you're so tired you can't enjoy anything. You feel resentful because everybody made you do it, which probably is not true, but it feels that way. So, be kind to yourself. And then thinking about our Lord, think about ways that are meaningful to honor Him and include Him through the season, whatever that is, whether it's a time of Thanksgiving, whether it's making sure that He's honored at Christmas, whatever that is. Just be really aware of your connection with God and ways to honor and acknowledge Him. Also, I really encourage you to focus on all that you have to be thankful for. It is so easy to focus on what went wrong, what's not right, what's painful, what's not happening. I mean, that'll be true for the rest of your life. There'll always be something that's not right, okay? So but focus on all the things that are good and the things that you can feel grateful for, because gratitude, practices of gratitude, they change us on the inside. It helps bring us calm and peace, and suddenly you notice all of the amazing things that you can be grateful for, even when there's, things that aren't so great. So make a list and start writing them down so you can read them. Things that you're truly grateful for this holiday season, especially, like I said, in the U.S., we're coming up on Thanksgiving. And the next thing is, most likely, you are missing somebody special during the holidays. There's somebody who is not here anymore for whatever reason. It could be through death or through estrangement. It could be because they don't live near you and they can't be here. Whatever that is, that's normal to feel that. And so, like I mentioned before, um, make sure that you, one, are kind to yourself about the emotions you're having, just realizing that they're normal. And then also, I would encourage you, and you're going to have your own creative way, okay? But I would encourage you to do things that are special, that keep them in mind during the holiday season. So I'm just going to say a couple things. You'll have your own way, okay? But it might just be keep a picture of them near you. Allow yourself to feel sad as well as happy as you remember them, or remember special times you had, funny stories that you had. Do activities that they like to do over the holidays. So just make sure that you check in with yourself about the very normal experience of is normal. It's normal to miss them at holiday-ish times. Okay, and then the last thing I'd say is say no when you need to. You can't do everything. You can't go to everything. You can't provide everything. We're human beings. We're not meant to live this way, okay? So say no when you need to. Make your own memories and do things as simply as possible. All right? So I'm gonna tell you, I'm putting it out there, and this video is going to go out there on YouTube later, so it's out there for the world, but a lot because of my lung disease and the fact that I can't do a whole lot. The last couple years we have gone and bought a pre-made turkey, and last year we actually did the whole dinner. This year we're going to get a pre-made turkey, and then we have some family coming. We're going to make some of the side dishes, but it's too exhausting for me. And you may not have lung disease, you might just be tired. And, consider minimizing and doing things as simply as possible. Okay, so I just hope that it's been helpful for you today to think about, just step back, rather than sort of get caught in the craziness of the holidays coming and you get swept up and you don't even get to decide anything. I hope that's been helpful for you to sort of step back and say, okay, what is really important to me? And you know what? I had to check with the other people in my life to see, we only have so much time during the day or do the visit together. What would be meaningful? What would be fun? And try to come up with some ideas related to those answers. And again, to be kind to yourself, to be compassionate with yourself about whatever you're going through, whether that's preparations or thinking of other people that you're missing or just being busy, whatever that is. Just be super kind to yourself and just practice gratitude. I think it will actually make a big difference to where your heart and your mind goes this holiday season. So I'd love it if you'd leave a comment below. A couple of you already have, which I appreciate. What was most helpful about what I shared? And if you have some tips you want to share with us about how you've come up with healthy expectations for the holidays, we can learn from each other, that is for sure. So I'll be done here in just a minute, but after I'm done, if you could share it on your Facebook page, just so there's going to be other people that could really use this message, and you would be blessing them to be able to do that. So thank you for joining me. I actually won't be back for 3 weeks. The reason is next week's the day after Thanksgiving, and in 2 weeks I'm actually going to be going down with a couple people in my family to go visit our 97 and 93-year-old fathers of my husband and I. And so we're going to take a long time getting to Southern California. It's hard for me to travel, but we're going to get down there and visit them. And so in 2 weeks, that's where I'll be. But I will be back in 3 weeks on the 9th, I believe it is. I think that's the right date. But anyway, the second Friday of December. And I would love to talk to you again then. So thanks so much for joining me. And you'll notice in the description of the video that if you've not had a chance to subscribe to my blog. There's a link there. So if you want to get these weekly updates about different topics that I'm covering, I would love to have you join me on my blog. So thank you so much for being here. I wish you a happy, happy Thanksgiving. And I want you to know that I'm thankful for all of you. I love doing this kind of thing. It's been so fun for me to still be able to teach and interact with people online, since I can't really do that in person anymore. So I want you to know I'm thankful for all of you, and thank you for all of your encouragement to me. You are a blessing to me, and I hope that you have a blessed Thanksgiving. All right, you take care. Bye-bye.